What's on with the YouTube? What the business is? Who the witness?
Amen.
It's your boy Breeze, and I'm back at you with another video. Now today in this video, we got a little special treat, you know. We got the boy who murdered his neighbor for TikTok. Now, I thought I heard it all. But you murdered somebody for TikTok? I ain't never heard of that before. That's a new one. But yeah, this gonna be a little treat for y'all. This gonna be a little special. Let's get to the video.
Stream live TV from 85 plus
Ads
channels.
come from, bro?
With a
Latham allegedly stabbed 52-year-old Timmy Durham to death.
I just stabbed somebody.
Aggravated manslaughter.
Who drives 100 miles an hour through a residential neighborhood?
What are you gonna do, Karen? Single-minded goal of becoming famous on TikTok.
Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be explaining how an 18-year-old kid from Vineland, New Jersey ended up in jail for murdering his neighbor because his thirst for clout got the best of him. You know, it's a really tragic line of
Clout is a drug. Yo.
events and was completely avoidable if the right intervention was taking place. But that never happened. One small problem spiraled out of control and eventually turned into a chaotic shitstorm that couldn't be stopped once things got too far. And I first heard about this story from a viewer of mine who messaged me on Instagram saying, "Hey Destiny, you probably have seen this or not, I want you to react to it. I know it happened 2 months ago, but I just heard of it now." And she linked me a video saying, "Did teen kill neighbor to become famous on TikTok?" I even stopped watching the video because I can watch you react to it, so please do. And by the way, I don't really do reaction videos, but obviously this person, whose name that I'm not going to even try pronouncing in fear of butchering it, really wanted me to look into the story and talk about it, and that is exactly what I did. I investigated to see what happened, and man, I seriously had to roll my eyes after reading up on the entire situation.
Too much time on his
basically
hands.
What happened was this 16-year-old kid named Zachary Latham moved into his grandparents' house on Thornhill Road in Vineland, New Jersey, and quickly got into some beef with his new neighbors after Mr. Durham, the husband and father who lived next door, complained to Zach's grandparents about his alleged reckless driving once he got there. And you know how some kids are. Once they get their license, they act like they've never been in a car before and start driving around like they're in Mario Kart.
I ain't gonna lie, that was me because I just got my first ticket the other day. I think I was going 61 and the 50. Yeah, that was.
Based on my understanding, after the talk that Mr. Durham had with Zach's grandparents ended, Zach's grandpa pulled him to the side and was like, "Hey yo, Zach, come over here, B. You gotta stop all that crazy driving you doing around my hood before
Yeah,
me
B.
and the missus decide to put your ass back on the street." And you know,
Yeah.
basically, they forced Zach to go on over to Mr. Durham's house and apologize for driving around the neighborhood like a crackhead that just got his license for the first time. However, based on what I've gathered after looking into the story deeper, Zach's apology was filled with nothing but lies, and soon after that, he quickly went back to his antics and continued on throughout the community with his reckless driving. Mr. Durham, now seeing that Zach really didn't care and completely dismissed what had happened earlier today as if he was a dementia patient with short-term memory loss, got really annoyed. And his impression of Zach being his new neighbor in his neighborhood plummeted into a deep, dark, fiery hole of hell that could never return. From that point on there, he really did not like Zach. And that is
I wouldn't like
when
Zachy.
everything started to go downhill and was the catalyst for what would one day start a bloody fight that would end up taking Mr. Durham's life. And you know, I think it's very important for me to clarify
It ain't
that
that
the
serious,
killing
I
of Mr.
promise you.
Durham didn't just happen out of nowhere. It wasn't a random occurrence of unlucky events that led to this deadly altercation between Mr. Durham and Zach. Because what most people fail to realize is that after the initial confrontation 2 years ago, there were many more small fights, arguments, and skirmishes between Mr. Durham, his family, and Zachary Latham. Like, this thing has been boiling up for a while now, and tensions have been rising. Like, for example, a month before the killing, on April 6th, Latham recorded himself embroiled in a heated confrontation with Mr. Durham's wife, Catherine, in which he, in a video that I'm going to show you guys in like a second, calls
Catherine, Karen. Let me see. Like right there. Like
for Karen over and over again after she complains about his wild driving.
What are you gonna do, Karen?
That's not my name. Get my name straight. Go ahead.
You okay, Karen? Go ahead, get my tag.
No,
Get my tag, Karen.
my name is not Karen. So get my name
My name is not
Get my
Karen.
tag, it's okay.
A45MFA.
And after posting that clip, he went viral on TikTok. That specific clip accumulated over 3 million views on his TikTok account, and the people who commented on the video were suggesting
I think I'm gonna do TikTok because ain't no way you get 3 million views from that little stuff, bro. Ain't no
that
way.
he cut her tires, egg her house, and continue to mess with her even more. Like, you can imagine how he felt after realizing that people actually enjoyed his destructive behavior and that they actually found it entertaining, especially when considering that most of his previous videos got no more than 150 likes at most. Inside his mind, he was probably thinking that this was his time to shine and was actively thinking of new ways to fuck with his next door neighbors. And days later though, Zach actually pulled up to Mrs. Durham's house and shouted, "Hey Karen, we went viral." Obviously trying to get inside Mrs. Durham's head by taunting her.
Come on with the ass, bro.
Show us why you travel.
I think that
was free.
YouTube
Okay, here we go. Decals.
premium or something, bro. I don't like these ads. They getting
And
away.
actually, in another video that I saw that he recorded, it shows him having a confrontation with William Durham Jr., which is her 21-year-old son, as he walks up to Zach's car, saying, "Get out of the car, bro." And then Zach responds back by saying that he's armed with a knife. And then he took that video, which he
Scared,
recorded,
man.
posted
Get out
it to
and
his
fight.
TikTok with the description, "Karen's son found the video, went viral, and tried taking me out of the car." And actually, in an article, it says here, police responded to this incident and took accounts from both Durham and Latham, but no charges were filed according to an investigation. In the article, it also says he has also blown her a kiss as he sped by while driving to his house. So obviously, he was just continuing to mess with her and trying to taunt her, you know, trying to get a reaction out of her. That's the kind of guy that he is. You know, this Zach guy, whoever the fuck he is a straight up dickhead. Like, he's an actual asshole. And to be honest, I
A
would never
douchebag.
want someone like him to be
You know what
my
them
neighbor,
people be saying,
because, like,
douchebag.
we would definitely be fighting every other week if he was on some bullshit like that while living right next door to me. But after reading up on some articles about this guy and who he is, I couldn't find much. Like, information about his life and his personal background was pretty sparse. However, after doing a little digging, I found out that this guy Zach was emancipated at 17 and was a soldier in the army serving as a National Guard private at 18. Which is ironic, since being a part of the National Guard means your job is to serve and protect your state, country, and community, and not terrorizing and being a nuisance to your next door neighbors.
People be
I
lying.
also found some images of him from his TikTok account that makes him look like a straight up egocentric kid. As you can see here in this image, it says 350Z owner, I love 5W-30. Is that a Tome dog? Society, neighbors hate you, cuts everybody off. What are blinkers? Road rage?
You
Loud
think he big,
exhaust?
too.
My DE will smoke your HR. Is this how douchebags communicate with each other? In another image, it says people in the army, because he's a National Guard in the army. He says, drives a Mustang or Camaro with 20% APR. I can drink more than you. He gets called stuck up, always loud, chair force, anger issues, has guns, likes to party. So clearly this guy's an asshole. And he's making it out to seem as if these personality traits are actually cool. Pretty weird. And another image, it says owning a Corvette. By the way, I don't know how you have all these cars at 17, but I guess good for him. Daddy's money. What's the
Yeah, I
speed
know
limit? Wanna race? Revs at the red light. Gets heated on for having a nice car. Ew, a Mustang stuck up. Yeah, this guy is basically
Hold up,
like the
hold
epitome
up
of a
about the
recommended
Mustangs
people
now, 'cause I want one.
personified. He apparently also has a history of simple assault, terroristic threats, and criminal mischief on his juvenile record. So when taking that into account as well, Zach is obviously a troublemaker. And you want to know what the crazy thing is? The Durham family was trying to sort this whole thing out the legal way via the courts and through the law enforcement, but the police weren't helping very much and said that COVID-19 made the courts close. As stated here, the Durhams,
I ain't gonna say nothing, but if he was black, yeah, he would have been out of there. I'm just saying.
Reporters wrote, sought help from the Vineland police several times, but were repeatedly told that they could not sign a complaint against Mr. Latham since the courts were closed because of the coronavirus pandemic. And by the way, I get that the coronavirus was very tragic, is very tragic, as it's still going on, and, we gotta take it serious.
To anybody that have loved ones that have died from COVID-19, I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm praying for y'all. Yeah.
But are we really just gonna sit here and disregard the legal complaints from a person who's in desperate need of help from a dickhead next door neighbor who's obviously terrorizing them? Like, where do you get help if not from law enforcement? The deceased father's legal team notes that a judge and several cops lived in the area and knew about the past trouble Latham had caused. Latham even shared a video of a police officer confirming that he won't take any action even though he saw video evidence. It's unclear which incident he is addressing.
Please, we will arrest you.
But you won't do anything even though you saw video proof, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
For your video, that is correct.
Thank you. Say what's up, TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah, say what's up.
That nigga wildin', bro. Fire him right now.
What do you do when you're trying to do things the right way, but there's no one around to help you and your family? Especially after 2 whole years. Well, you try and take matters into your own hands. Unfortunately, though, things went sideways for Mr. Durham when he tried to do just that. Because on May 4th, being the asshole that Zach Latham was, Zach allegedly swerved his car onto the side of the road where Mr. Durham's 17-year-old son was riding his bike. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Mr. Durham had enough and he decided to finally confront Zach face to face like a man after 2 years. And especially considering that Zach was no longer a child and was now 18, I suppose he was
ready
no
for it
longer
now when you're
being
18.
charged with child abuse if things turned physical.
And these ads, bro.
Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be...
As stated here, though, after Zach, basically tried to hit his son, Mr. Durham pulled his truck into the street to block Latham's truck. Catherine Durham, his wife, recording the exchange on her phone, challenged Latham over the incident involving her son. Video footage shows Latham throwing an elbow at Catherine Durham, pushing her back, knocking the phone from her hand, and speeding off toward his home. And then when Latham got to his house, his wife, because, he's actually married at 18, which is weird, who was recording the scene with her phone, walked down the driveway.
I don't see how y'all get married that young, bro. I'm 20 and I ain't worried about marriage right now. Y'all, he 18. No.
To confront the Durham's sons as they came onto the property, because the whole family was actually involved in the situation. They went over there like a squad trying to confront Zach about, just everything that happened over the course of 2 years. Sarah Latham, Zach's wife, told the Durham sons that they had better back up because they were not going to like what was coming out of the house. So obviously she was threatening the entire family. Soon after, William Durham, their father and the husband, arrived with his truck. Latham's public defenders say in their filing that he and his wife can be heard on the video footage clearly telling the Durhams several times to get off the property, and they are not welcome. The Durhams, their hands visibly empty, continued to approach, the prosecution filing says. So now the Durhams had crossed the line from their property to Latham's grandparents' property. But here's where things took a turn for the worst. Because apparently after he got back home after speeding off earlier in the story, he actually went inside his house, got a couple of knives and his stun gun, and came back outside to confront the Durham family. So clearly this kid wanted to fight. He wanted the smoke. He wanted to get down and dirty, and, things went bad. So yeah, after going back outside, he confronted the family and fired his stun gun at one of the sons. It then says William Durham then grabbed at Latham, who slashed him in the right arm with his knife before retreating in his garage. So obviously, this is exactly where things started to go really crazy. Both Mr. Durham and Zach were in the heat of the moment. Their adrenaline levels must have been through the roof, and they were in full-on battle mode. But it didn't stop there, because after that happened, apparently Mr. Durham had followed Zach toward the garage that Zach was heading to. It then says here a brief but violent melee then ensued, during which the stun gun was fired repeatedly and Latham's wife urged him to drop the knife. So yeah, you can imagine. Sarah, this 18-year-old kid's wife, was recording the whole thing. And once I reveal why she was recording this entire thing to begin with,
What a video.
you guys will be disgusted. Unfortunately though, in a horrific line of events, Mr. Durham was stabbed under the armpit, puncturing his lungs in what was thought to be the fatal wound that killed him. Perry, Latham's lawyer, did not respond to requests for comment on the suggestion that his client had lured William Durham to his death in hopes of gaining social media notoriety. Because as it stands right now, their lawyers, the lawyers that represent Mr. Durham's family, they genuinely believe that the whole reason for Zach continuously trying to mess with the Durham family was to get reactions out of them so that he could then record them, post it to his TikTok, and try to become TikTok famous. And you know what? In this instance, I absolutely do believe TikTok did have a role to play in the way that things ended up in this situation. You know, Zach's own narcissism, ego, mixed in with the weird-ass people in his comment section telling him to continue to keep fucking with his neighbors, led directly to this tragedy. But in my opinion, it's not even TikTok's fault necessarily, because in my opinion, TikTok is just a symptom of a larger pre-existing condition that we've had in our society ever since people figured out that they could gain fame from social media. You know, the idea of getting famous on social media is like an intoxicating drug that takes over your entire body once it enters your bloodstream. And just the thought of being able to do something wild to capture the attention of millions of people across the world really has got some people hooked like a fish on bait, unaware of the impending doom about to come their way once they're captured by a fisherman. But in this case, that fisherman is TikTok.
Dropbox Business keeps your team connected, whether they're working from home, in the office, or even on the go.
But yeah, Zachary Latham, as of right now, was charged with first-degree manslaughter after claiming his actions were in self-defense, and unsurprisingly, Mr. Durham's wife and 2 children were charged with simple assault and trespassing, since they did in fact cross over to Zachary Latham's property and, you know, did contribute to the altercation that happened. But their lawyers, they want the charges against the family dropped and Latham charged with first-degree murder, because their theory is basically the same as mine. As it says here in this article, Latham, they say, deliberately drew William Durham to his death in a bid for social media celebrity. In a June letter to Webb McRae, the lawyers Diane M. Ruberton and Robert R. Simmons noted that Latham's wife, Sarah Latham, recorded the brawl on her phone and said she did so because it was her and Latham's intent to post these videos to TikTok and become TikTok famous. Yeah. Pretty wild stuff. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know down below. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram so that you can always know what I have planned next. And with that being said, it's your guy Destiny, and I'll catch you guys and ladies in the next one. Alright, so in an updated report I read after recording this video, I found out that this guy, Zachary Latham, isn't even in jail because apparently the judge who is currently overseeing this case didn't think it was necessary to jail him until his next court date, which is scheduled to be in May of 2021. It says here, in denying pretrial detention, the order said, further, for the reasons set forth on the record and herein, the court does not find clear and convincing evidence that pretrial detention is necessary to reasonably assure the defendant's appearance in court when required, the protection of the safety of any other person or the community, and that the defendant will not obstruct or attempt to obstruct the criminal justice process. The state did not meet its burden to detain, that there are no conditions that would reasonably assure the defendant's appearance in court when required, the protection of the safety of any other person and the community, and that the defendant will not obstruct or attempt to obstruct the criminal justice process. Therefore, the defendant is released on level 2 monitoring. Therefore, the motion for pretrial detention is denied. So all this means is that this kid will be free and out of jail for at least 9 months before appearing in court again, because they don't think he's a flight risk. You know, he won't try to avoid his court hearing and will come in a timely manner when they request him to do so. And you know, I kind of believe that this is just another example of being privileged in America, you know, if you fit into a particular socioeconomic background, that is.
Yeah, white privilege.
And I can almost guarantee you that if this kid wasn't rich, you know, was a bit tanned on that day that he appeared in court and lived in the inner city, this judge would have had him in jail until his next court date in 2021. It's a sad reality of the imbalances between being rich versus being poor in America. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a cold world out here, baby. Anyway, like I said before, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
And that's crazy. Like, this man really just murdered this man for TikTok, and he ain't get, like, he not in jail or nothing. Like, man, that, if you got money or whatnot, what he said, man, you privileged, bro. I don't care what nobody say. Ain't no way. If this man was black, bro, he would have been in jail, like, until the court date, and then he probably got more time. Like, that's crazy to me.
Well, that's all, folks. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe down at the bottom. Oh yeah, like it right now, like, because y'all be liking my stuff. Like it right now. I'm waiting.
While I'm waiting for your fucking response.
A few moments later.
Alright, we good. That's all, folks.
Man, I'm rolling like a 18-wheeler. Turned up, bitch, I'm on them fucking jiggers. Throw me back, throw me back, throw me back. In the club, wherever the pills at, bitch, rolling